I'm the 8th generation Frisbee in Delhi. The original Gideon Frisbee was one of the first settlers in Delhi. So this property was purchased by my great-grandfather back in the late 1800s. Got a lot of history, and it's pretty neat that my sons are the 9th generation to be on the farm too. We've always worked off the farm too, Dad or my grandfather, so it's something we value to do, and we have the resource of the land to do it, and it's important to us to kind of carry on that tradition. There's opportunities for sure. I guess you could say we have a lot of irons in the fire. We do a little bit of everything. We like to be busy. The maple is something that we like to do, and we're talking about trying to increase that portion of the business. We're right about 800, 900 taps right now. We're wood-fired, pretty conventional system.
Technology hasn't changed too much over the years. It's always wood-fired and an open evaporator. One of the good things about where we are in the watershed is that there's a lot of opportunities in terms of adapting technologies and seeing other folks do it or being the first. WAC's usually been very supportive of any type of forward motion. The idea of utilizing more of our wood resource is certainly one of the things that I'm interested in doing. There's opportunity there, so if you have a good stewardship ethic, you're going to try to use this stuff.
The farm itself is 113 acres. 25 is open land that we use for production, mostly pasture. We do grass-fed, grass-finished for the beef. We rent another 10 acres of pasture from the neighbor. Probably use another 60 to 70 acres of hay land for winter feeding. We're doing about 15 pigs a year, and I'm selling to some of the same people that I sold to 20 years ago when I first got my first animals. The customer values, I think, that product, and we certainly value producing good products, whether it's the meat or the syrup.
So you're 25 head, you said?
Yeah, about 25 head. I mean, that's what our land can support. We we use some neighboring properties for pasture. When I'm rotationally grazing, I don't want to, push the land too hard, overgraze, have to feed hay in the middle of the summer. If the grass is growing, I want the cows to harvest it when they can. We're somewhat limited on pasture, and that limits our herd size, but that's just a choice we've made. So. Right. We rent probably another 50, 60 acres of hay ground. Nearby, we rent a chunk of city land for maple production.
The easement program does ease supplemental lands that are related to the producer's property and covered by the whole farm plan. Right. I mean, it's a key element to the success and viability of the farm operations. Absolutely. The committee and the organization has made an effort to preserve those lands as well for farmers like yourself.
Riverdale Farm and Forest participates in Economic Viability, Pure Catskills, Watershed Ag Program, Easements Program, and the Forestry Program. So behind us is the winter feeding area, primarily for nutrient management purposes on the farm.
This pad in particular is only 5 years old. It's gravel, a feeding area that we can pick up the manure, on a regular basis and store it until late summer when we spread it on the fields, as a safer application time than the middle of the winter. It's not going to hold up as long as, say, concrete or asphalt. You're going to have to come back and redo it, replace it. We would have been farther ahead using a more hardened surface, so I know now the program's looking at, through the repair and replacement, to come back and we'll put in a hardened surface, whether it's concrete or asphalt, to just ensure that for the next 10, 20 years, we're going to be able to operate that BMP as intended.
And I think that's a real common theme across many of our ag program participants. A lot of our BMPs were built in the mid to late 2000s. They're coming of age, they need to be replaced. We're hopeful and thankful that our funder and partners will work with us on that component of the ag program. We have some fencing out here where his cattle might be moving in.
Yeah, we use all temporary along the river and the floodplain. When we do get a good flood, dealing with fence and high water is no fun. So we've used temporary fence for years. Watershed has purchased that for us. The area behind us, we do intend to put into the CREP riparian buffer program. There's been some stream stability issues on the West Branch. We've kind of made the decision to put it into a buffer instead. We do need to get the stream banks stabilized before we can move forward with that program.
We have almost 300 farms that we serve. We do not have an unlimited budget or unlimited staff capacity. So there is a waiting list. That's just a reality of how we have to do business, and something we're looking to do better in the future.
We closed on our easement here on Riverdale Farm in 2011, just over 100 acres. My grandparents owned the farm at the time when they completed that easement.
My folks are 87, so, you know, the money's been important in terms of, you know, another kind of a nest egg, if you will.
Maybe you could tell us maybe some of the goals you had as a family headed into the easement.
The land that we have is either river bottom, floodplain, or mountain hillside woods. We didn't foresee any need or any want to split it up for any reason in the future. So we felt it was a good way to preserve it as a farm. We've been active participants with WAC over the past almost 20 years, and you know, I think it's exciting, and I think there's a lot of opportunities ahead, and hopefully with the easement and everything, you know, we're able to keep this as a farm for years to come, and hopefully, you know, somebody in the next generation will want to start working here and help us out a little bit. So.